me now is the Republican governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine. Governor DeWine, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Morning, Chuck.
I want to start with, look, this Memorial Day weekend, one of the top places to go normally in your state would be Cedar Point. Cedar Point, not an amusement park, not yet open. When do you think that's going to happen? And and is that to you the real start that, okay, you're at a next level of reopening in the state of Ohio?
Well, that would be a next level of reopening. Chuck, I have no idea when Cedar Point will be able to open. Our kids and grandkids love to go there. We would love to go there, but we're certainly not there yet. If you look at our data, our replication rate is 1 to 1. We are now reopening. We've got to see how this reopening is going. The reports I get back, it's going pretty well. Our restaurants are doing what they need to do, keeping the space. Right. Retail is doing the same thing, but we're not there yet as far as, mass gatherings of people.
Do you have a metric where you'll pull the emergency brake in your mind? And is that a metric you're willing to share with the public? I mean, I'm thinking about the next 3 weeks. We're going to find out how Memorial Day weekend went, probably around Father's Day weekend.
Well, Chuck, the thing I keep talking to the people of the state of Ohio is, and by the way, they did a great job for 2 months keeping the distance. Now we're at a different phase as we open up. And so not only do we have to wash our hands, keep a distance, but now we're asking everyone who's out in public to wear a mask. I mean, there was a recent review done by Stanford of, I think, 17 different studies that had been done in regard to masks. And they are very effective in stopping these droplets that we put out when we talk and when we sneeze and do other things. And so it really is going to depend, I think, on how well all of us do. I have great confidence in Ohioans. And so right. We're really promoting wearing the mask and keeping that distance as we open up the economy. We think we can do two things at once.
You brought up the mask debate. I was going to wait till later in this interview to bring up a fellow governor in North Dakota. I want to play for you what he said about the mask debate on Friday. Take a listen, Governor.
If someone is wearing a mask, they're not doing it to represent what political party they're in or what candidates they support. They might be doing it because they've got a 5-year-old child who's been going through cancer treatments. They might have vulnerable adults in their life who are currently have COVID and are fighting.
For those of us that have covered American politics for so long, it was hard not to be moved by that governor's message just now, Governor DeWine, because it was like, how did masks become this political dividing line? You yourself wanted to make it mandatory, and you decided to back off. Do you wish the president would help you out here a little bit more?
Well, the governor is right. The governor's spot on. I've watched that clip a couple times. And this is not about politics. This is not about whether you're liberal or conservative, left or right, Republican, Democrat. We wear the mask, and it's been very clear what the studies have shown. You wear the mask not to protect yourself so much as to protect others. And this is one time when we truly are all in this together. What we do directly impacts others. And we're not saying if you're in a car and you're driving by yourself, you don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to wear a mask if you're out away from people, hiking or doing all kinds of different things, or in your own house. But when you go out and interact directly with people, we're asking Ohioans to do this. And so it's not about politics. It's not about conservative or liberal. It's about helping other people.
Is there a point that you're going to reissue your executive order, or do you feel as if the pushback you got, you're like, okay, I'll just publicly keep telling you that I think you should do it?
Well, our order does say that every employee in every business, unless there is some reason that they can't wear that mask, every employee is wearing a mask today. So that's a fundamental change in Ohio. As we go out, a lot of stores, you'll see 90% of the people who do, the customers are wearing masks. But we want to continue to up that throughout the state because it is really what we need as we open up the economy. Look, Chuck, this is a risk, but it's also a risk if we don't open up the economy. All the downsides of not opening up the economy. We can do both these things.
Let me ask you quickly about Congress and the lack of debate right now about the next round of funding, of aid, rescue money, whatever you want to call it. In this case, if it's still rescue or stimulus. What is the state of Ohio? What do you need in your budget from the federal government?
Well, we need, from the government, federal government, an extension of our ability to use the National Guard. That's very, very helpful. We have National Guard next week going out into our nursing homes. They've done a phenomenal job. More flexibility is important. Look, Chuck, we're processing the money now. I think Congress will come up with something. And again, the flexibility for the cities and our towns, our villages, our counties, as well as for the state. We have, because of the economy down and the tax revenue down, we're very concerned about our ability, frankly, to fund our schools. So these are basic things that we need the flexibility for.
Do you think it's good policy to let a government go bankrupt if they don't have the funding right now, or is that something you think the government should plug a hole in until we're through this crisis?
I'm not going to get into that. Look, we're focused on getting the job done. We don't intend to go bankrupt. In Ohio, we have to balance our budget every single year, and we just made $760 million worth of cuts, and we did what we have to do. It's the same way with local government in Ohio. They're going to do what they have to do.
All right, Governor DeWine, Republican from Ohio. Thank you for coming on, sharing your views, and I hope you have a safe Memorial Day weekend.
Thanks, Chuck.
Hello from Washington, I'm Chuck Todd, and thanks for checking out the Meet the Press channel on YouTube. Click on the button down here to subscribe and click over here to watch the latest interviews, highlights, and other digital exclusives.